Hey everyone, welcome to Dad Casual, where full-time dads and casual gamers come together to discuss everything we love about the games we wish we had more time to play. Thanks for being here. If you would, please take a moment to follow and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and your podcast platform of choice. And if you ever have any questions, topics, or thoughts, feel free to email us at dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And without further ado, this is Dad Casual. Welcome to episode 9 of Dad Casual. In today's episode, we need a plumber because these leaks, they are out of control. Not as usual. We only have Preston Jensen.
What's up, everybody?
And me, Houston Dragna. What's up, dude? How's it going today?
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us. All right, so I can't say that. We're going to get flagged.
We're going to get flagged
I
because
think
you
you
sound
get
just like them.
I know, right? I think you get 3 seconds before you get flagged by copyright issues for it to be like fair use.
Maybe we could sing the whole song throughout the episode.
That was the harmony too. You know, I was just kind of keeping it extra safe there.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good week, man. Cooler weather hit us this week.
Dude, right?
It was super nice. Was outside a lot.
I went up to Philadelphia this weekend to go play a gig. Like that's
Nice.
like a kind of a rare occurrence for me to play guitar for like a big gig like that, but it was a lot of fun. But the weather there was like identical. Like it was actually, if this sounds weird, but I feel like it was almost hotter than it was here.
It was
like
pretty nice here.
Yeah, it's like very rare thing. So, for those of you that don't know, listening, we're based in Louisiana. I know that's most of our listeners are in Louisiana right now, but we're used to the hot, sticky, gross, nasty
muggy
weather all the time.
Yeah.
Muggy is the term we use all the
Until
time.
like Thanksgiving. Even then, it's hot
Yeah.
all the time. But we busted out. Well, it's been out, but it hasn't been really turned on. Just stayed clean. The hot tub.
Oh yeah,
and it is back up and running. So
I'm jelly. Hot tubs are great.
Rhett, my son, loves the hot tub. He will get in every night. He's like, "We're gonna get in that." And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if I sound like this. And again, we have mostly Louisiana listeners, but he goes, "Hot tub," like super real country. And I'm like, do we say it like that? I don't know.
That's amazing. Like maybe when you get like really excited about it, the kind of goofy accents come out.
Yeah, it's fun. But
I think that. All right, man. Well, this may be a shorter episode. We don't know. We kind of have some cool stuff planned. So Andy's not here. We'll talk about that later on why he's not here. But for now, we're going to just go ahead and start with the main topic. So if you haven't seen, in the last 24 hours, there have been announcements about leaks in 2 gigantic properties. Grand Theft Auto 6, which, I mean, we talked about that a couple episodes ago. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the biggest entertainment property like ever invented.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, made by Take-Two, Rockstar, that huge corporation. And then another gigantic property, Diablo IV, has also been leaked. And that is by Activision Blizzard, also another ginormous corporation. So to have 2 of the biggest names in video games have their systems hacked or leaked or whatever you want to call it, there's some different reasons to go into there. Is kind of a big deal in just entertainment news in general. So I kind of wanted to get into that a little bit. So Preston, being our resident Grand Theft Auto expert on Dad Casual and probably in the state of Louisiana, what have you read? Where have you read it from? What do you think about it? Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I was hearing some rumblings online, Reddit, a couple other websites, PC Gamer, a couple other ones. But I saw, actually, I've been super busy the last 48, 72 hours, whatever it is. And I saw on Twitter a message from Rockstar. And they basically
same here.
said, I was like, whoa, it's a legit like leak. And they said they had suffered a network intrusion, which somebody illegally accessed, which is a huge thing. not just a
legit hacker situation.
Right, not just a leak, but like theft.
That's incredible.
So, yeah. But they said they didn't anticipate any disruption to current or long term of the development of ongoing projects. They did say it was for the hack or the theft, as they put it, did include early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. So
yeah, so it is still live out there on the internet, on Reddit and other places. So if you want to stay away from spoilers, maybe kind of just don't go on any game publications for the next couple of days until
because it is everywhere.
We've noticed a lot of them have been kind of getting scrubbed, all the big ones, but there's definitely going to be copies of it everywhere. So if you don't want it super spoiled, besides the little bit of details that we know about it, like having like a female protagonist and it possibly being back to Vice City and all that kind of stuff, definitely protect yourself from spoilers. Yeah,
definitely, because it is every publication I know of that talks about anything to do with gaming, and even those I saw it on CNN this morning too. Like I was kidding. Whoa, this is huge. And we're dealing with, losing, well, we're not, but the Queen passing away is obviously front page everywhere. And then to see GTA leaks on the same page, I was like, oh, this is a big deal. Yeah. So yeah, some info about it though, from what I've read so far, and this is not spoilers, this is just talking about what happened. From what I understand, it's a 16-year-old kid who somehow gained access. I'm not sure if it was like actually hacking or if it was whatever they call it, where they are like, here, reset your password, and somebody from Rockstar like gave them access by accident,
gave them like a backdoor, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that happened, but apparently this person leaked everything, but also has the source code for GTA 5, GTA 5 Online, and GTA 6, if that's what they're calling it, still.
And is holding Take-Two
holding a ransom
for ransom. Yeah, that's what I understood. Yeah. And it was some kind of ridiculous like small number. It was like a Dr. Evil thing for like $100,000.
Yeah, it was. When I saw the number, I was like, bro.
It's like, oh wait, I mean $100 billion.
$100 billion. Yeah. It was super small, but man, that's a big deal.
Wild to me. Like ransom for a video game? Like has that been a thing before, at least on this scale? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think it gets much bigger than GTA.
No, for sure not. I don't think it's ever been, I don't know if there's ever been a ransom for a video game like this. But it's not even that he could just leak the game. I do feel bad, and I've seen it all over Twitter and things. The developers, man. Like if this source code gets leaked, what do you do then? Do you have to start over? That opens the door for so many different things and hackers.
It later. Does, but I'd like to think with like how big of a workforce Take-Two and Rockstar have, like even if somebody actually got the source code and knew what to do with it, like the best they could do is like a cheap knockoff. Like they could give you the base game.
For sure.
And to be clear, listeners, so like the leak that happened, like this is like pre alpha like development footage.
Yeah,
like, this is not like a polished game or anywhere close to that yet.
I will say it made me excited to see things. Yeah. But you definitely could tell that it was like alpha. Like it was not.
Yeah, there's all the textures aren't populated. Like the cityscape. Like I saw like one or two screenshots, and like the cityscape is like very barren. There's like the little vector controls for like the 3D animations on the characters like still present and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine. I tried to equate it to what we do, full-time jobs like video production mainly. Like I would hate for somebody to see in the world a
like raw footage
edit. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this isn't my work.
No color grades, no edits, no audio, no sound effects, no nothing.
Right. that would just, oh man, that would hurt. And then people, trashing it online. I'm like,
Well, yeah, like, and we
come
can
on,
relate
man.
as artists because, like, as an artist, like you take something and you can already kind of see the finished product, and so
mm-hmm.
yeah, like this is
Yeah.
very much that first stage, or I mean, not first stage. I mean, obviously they have to be closer before that, before like announcing it or anything like that. But this is, I don't know, it looked like 30% done to me, at least at that stage.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a ton in the background, kind of going on with all the code and stuff in video games. That's the quote everybody says: video games are hard to make.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely not. And all the articles from like IGN and stuff are like, yeah, there's a leak, but you're not getting this anytime soon. It's probably, if I had to guess, a year or two out still.
At
maybe
least
a year.
I mean, I think I think from announcement of GTA 5 to launch of GTA 5 was over a year. So
yeah, from first announcement,
I
that's pretty common, at least a year.
Yeah. And I was reading something about that, and I had never thought about this, but like in other media forms, that doesn't happen. Like a lot. Now Marvel has started to do it. But a lot of movies you just hear about, and then like
3 months later, they're out.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months.
You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, and they're doing like all the art.
And they're like done. Like at that point, they're doing final touches. They're designing the DVD, like Blu-ray covers and stuff.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The question I have about all of this is, how does it affect timeline of announcing anything? Will it affect a timeline?
No, I mean,
is it
the vibe
better to just go through
I think the vibe that I'm getting from Rockstar and all of their kind of like counterpoints to all of this announcement and stuff is that, yeah, nothing's changing. We hate that it happened, and they kind of the voice of their message on Twitter kind of sounded like a disappointed parent. And it was just like, yeah, this sucks. It wasn't supposed to happen, but like this isn't changing our work ethic or anything like that. We're gonna release the game as scheduled and continue to work on it until it's done. So, and I mean, clearly it's not done. So we have quite a while to wait. So we'll see what happens. We'll.
Still excited.
I mean, if I was Rockstar and that guy was serious about his $100,000 ransom, I'd be like, sure, bet, here you go.
Yeah, but what's the likelihood he actually deletes anything?
Well, that's when you get lawyers involved.
Yeah,
which I'm sure they've already like kind of scrambled the fighter jets on. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, even you said it. Like everything's being taken down very fast.
Yeah, their team is hard at work.
I mean, it's getting put up, but it's getting taken down. Yeah. So yeah. But another leak.
Yeah. So another leak from another massive publication and developer, Diablo IV from Activision Blizzard, was also leaked. I don't know exactly the timing, but I think they were both this week.
Yeah, I think in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I think they both came to light in the past 24 hours. So we have an article from PC Gamer, and shout outs to PC Gamer for kind of capturing the brunt of both of these stories. So this is from Rick Lane at PC Gamer, and I might skip around, but this is the gist of it. It seems like GTA 6 wasn't the only game to suffer a major leak yesterday. A few hours, so yeah, it wasn't the same day. A few hours after Rockstar's highly anticipated sequel spilled online, around 40 minutes of Diablo 4 test footage also leaked onto the net, showing off gameplay of Blizzard's upcoming ARPG or action role-playing game. Spotted by Reddit user iVirus0, the footage appeared in the form of two videos totaling 43 minutes. Unlike the GTA 6 leak, which appeared to be the result of a hack, the Diablo 4 leak has seemingly stemmed from a private Discord stream, which was recorded by one of its viewers. And they go into detail on like how they could tell it was Discord. Like they could hear the notifications and they hear people's voices going. And if you look at the footage, it's still available. There's like a watermark over one of the screens that says like private test footage, and it has like a code. And then you can hear people's voices, but they're like pitch shifted and stuff and modulated to kind of hide the identity of whoever what it was, which I guess it might be a protocol that these companies use to like if they share footage on Discord, that it's like masked in a certain way. So like the damage can be mitigated, I guess, a little bit. But this game, interestingly enough, looks a lot further along from what I saw. I kind of spoiled it for myself. I mean, I like Diablo. I've played 3 a little bit, but I'm not like a big time fan. Not super committed.
I mean, this was actual gameplay.
This was real,
right?
like it was, seemed like functional gameplay. So it should be a lot closer to being done. But yeah, same thing. But this was a different method. Like they said, it wasn't a quote unquote hack. This seems like somebody was sharing privileged information or got into a Discord that they weren't supposed to be able to get into. So yeah, it's a very, very similar story, but kind of just a different way of going about it.
I wonder if someone got fired.
Oh, I'm sure
somebody got fired.
Heads are rolling right now at both of these companies. I mean, like I said, these are two of the biggest video game developers and publishers on the planet today. This is Activision, Blizzard, and Take-Two / Rockstar. And it doesn't get much bigger than that unless you're like a big conglomerate like Tencent or something like that. So, I don't really have much more like a different thought than what's going into what we were saying going into talking about GTA 6. But this is kind of a bummer. I mean, like these people work really hard on these games. Game development is very, very difficult. It takes a very long time to do, and just to kind of have the surprise spoiled it's got to be gutting for these teams.
Yeah, especially, I mean, like I said in the GTA part 2, like so many years. It's not just a quick
no.
Like I even think about like TV or films or things like that. Yes, it's a lot of work, and nothing against the people in those industries, myself included, but like games just seem so much more in depth. I feel like people are just, pouring their lives into these, and to, like you said, have it just thrown out there like, here's our stuff, even though it's not done. Man, just rough.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that there are some companies and games that are kind of like too big to fail kind of thing, like Diablo 4 and GTA 6. They're like the most recent adaptation in a long list of like pretty successful games. And so, I mean, people are going to play these games. Like I don't think there's any,
no matter what,
like any worries around losing a fan base based off of like a few screenshots or like a few minutes of gameplay. Well, and I guess in this case, it's almost an hour of gameplay for Diablo. But still, I know Diablo 3 was a very successful game. There's a ton of people that love that series altogether. So people are going to play Diablo 4. I mean, heck, I'm going to play Diablo 4 if I can.
And I will still pre-order. They should just put the pre-order out today for both these games.
Coming out whenever. Give us your money.
Don't put a date. Just say, yep.
I mean, they can always push it
back. Here's
back.
The game. I saw somebody on Reddit say that the ultimate thing Rockstar should do because of who they are is put this in the game. Like, make it a mission where you have to steal information from a gaming company and leak it online. And that would be incredible.
That would be fantastic. just really lean into it. And it seems like something Rockstar would do anyway, right?
Right. That would be amazing. So the crazy thing about Diablo, though, was the modulated voices still is very weird to me.
I said, my best guess is that that's an automated thing that happens on their servers. That like anything recorded in Discord, like they have a system on their computer that's like, okay, it's being recorded. We're putting a watermark on it, and the voices are getting a quote unquote audio watermark of being like modulated and distorted.
Yeah,
that's a guess based on what I saw in that, or the person that posted it in the first place had enough wit about them to actually do that before they posted it. Just to maybe they were one of the people talking. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, that could be true.
It's got to be something like that. It's like that they're trying to hide breadcrumbs there. So I don't know. It's some crazy stuff, man. I'm sure there's going to be like full investigations. There's people going to be fired. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going down. I do not envy these teams right now, for sure.
Not at all.
Cool. If you have any thoughts about that, feel free to shoot us an email. At dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Preston, Andy is not here tonight, right?
Oh, he's not. Where is he?
I feel like we're playing like Blue's Clues now.
No one knows.
a clue.
I found it. I just found a letter.
So
Andy's not here.
He is having a date night with his wife, and that's great. And we wanted to talk about that a little bit. So in a previous episode, we talked about kind of like work-life balance and like gaming life balance, and why it's important. And
super
while
important.
we love video games and we love it so much that we started a podcast about it, we love our wives and our families more. And we think that's super important. And it's super awesome that Andy made the decision to do that. And we fully support him in taking time to make sure that this is not his number one priority, that his family is, and that comes first. So that's what he's doing tonight. That's, I think it's very respectable. What do you think, Preston?
Yeah, I think it's super important. And I will say, I think Andy and his wife, Michelle, are probably one of the best examples of that balance. Being friends with him for almost 10 years now. And they've been married just as long, a little longer. Andy and Michelle are definitely people I look up to in that aspect. They definitely put their marriage and their kids and their family above everything else, whether it be obviously video games or work or religious stuff, any of that. This is number one, and that's commendable. And I wish I could be like Andy when I grow up, even though I'm way older than him.
Way older.
I don't. Yeah, few years older, but I think it's awesome too because we're recording tonight. And this was kind of a last minute thing, and at first I was kind of bummed. And I was like,
yeah, because I was out of town, and so part of it's my fault because I couldn't record at all this weekend. We normally record like either on like Friday or Saturday, sometimes Sunday if we have to push it, because I like a day or so to edit to get the episode out by Tuesday, because I do the audio editing and like the artwork, and then Preston does like the YouTube editions, and then Andy does some of the social media stuff, and so we kind of split the work that way. But the audio edit takes probably a little bit longer than most things, so I just like to have some extra time.
Yeah.
But it was my fault because I had this gig, and life happens. And that's part of it being dad casual. This is not our full-time job. We are casual gamers. We are casual podcasters. And sometimes it has to work like that. So to get you guys an episode at your regular time to stay consistent in that aspect, we're going to record just me and Preston tonight, and still get you an episode by Tuesday. So
there it is.
Yeah, you're welcome, listeners.
We're here for you. Andy's not. I'm just kidding.
There's the bus. Just tossed him right under it. Just right
kidding.
under it.
Just kidding.
Oh man. So yeah.
Speaking of old,
let's talk about a new
little segment.
We haven't. So we did discuss this last week, but we didn't make it official with Andy. So Preston and I made an executive call. So this is what happens, Andy. This is
Andy.
What happens when you're not here. We make formal decisions about the run of show. I am calling this segment Retro Review. And so we are going to take an opportunity to talk about some of the games that we've played that we found were awesome, that might be on our top gaming list. I actually took some time while I was on my flight to this gig to write out like my top 30 or so games that I've ever played. At least what I think for right now. Like that list is going to be ever changing, I think. But yeah, Retro Review. We'll take an old game. Could be a couple years old, could be 30 years old. And just take some time to review it. Dad casual style. Real casual. Ask a few questions about it. Learn some stuff about it. Give our kind of surface level thoughts as like one or two people. And see what you guys have to think about it. So, for the first one.
This I want to set this up. This is probably one of the highest reviewed games of all time.
Yeah, so I wanted to start big for a couple of reasons. One, because I think it'll make the segment more interesting. And a lot of people have played this game. And it has a sequel coming out in 2 months. We're going to talk about God of War 2018 on PS4. So, if you're not familiar with the God of War series, it originally came out on PS2 I don't know, a decade ago, maybe.
Okay.
And it was like an action RPG style game. And it was more like almost kind of like a beat 'em up. Like it was like a more not purely top down, but there were a lot of top down elements where it's like you're just this deity almost, or like this guy that's like really mad and like
this god.
yeah.
Of
Well, he
war,
doesn't become the
if you
god of war until I think the end
I'm
of the
just
first
kidding.
game. But he's just this dude who's like really pissed off and like mad at the gods, and then he goes fights all these people, and then eventually I think kills Ares or whatever. The god of war becomes the new god of war. Spoilers, but that game's 10 years old. You lost your chance. And so there's a bunch of, I think there's 3 main games, and then there's a bunch of like PSP and like other side games and stuff that they made. And I think they remastered a couple of those, but then they rebooted the series in 2018. And that was Sony Santa Monica, which I think is the same studio that made the original ones, but they kind of came out the gates swinging. Like they made this like masterpiece of a game. I think it got like, it has a 94 on Metacritic. It got 10 out of 10 on like a lot of publications. I think IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. I might be wrong on that, but
Yep.
One of the best reviewed games of all time. It is my number 3 game of all time behind Breath of the Wild and Ghost of Tsushima. It's a very close second. It's probably tied with Ghost of Tsushima, if I'm honest. But it is this gorgeous reinvention of God of War in high definition. They took a lot of cool risks and different changes with this game. Like it is all told from a one camera perspective, which is a really cool way. It's a very cinematic way of telling a story.
Continuous.
Yeah, continuous one shot. There also, are no
continuous one shot.
Like cuts or edits. Like there are kind of moves and stuff that are like very dramatic and sudden and quick, but it is one continuous camera shot the entire game, all from Kratos' perspective.
Is mind blowing to think about how they created that. Yeah. A one continuous camera shot just in real life is
there's only been a couple of movies that are like that are actually good, which what was it, like 1917, that war movie that was like famous recently for doing that as well.
Yeah, and The Shining.
Oh, I didn't know that about The Shining.
Jaws.
That's cool.
Social Network.
Gotcha.
That was another one. There's a couple, but yeah.
Preston and Andy are more cinema buffs than I am, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So
I think those
visually it was incredible. Story wise, so God of War was set in like Greek mythology. It's like you're fighting Ares and Zeus and Athena and all these cool like Greek gods. And then for this one, they changed to Norse mythology. So he is in somewhere in Scandinavia or something like that. And you run into, man, it's been 4 years. Are we calling no spoilers or are spoilers okay? I'm going to say they're okay. So
spoilers are okay.
Spoiler
for this
warning. We're going to give you a full like 10 seconds right here. Spoilers. Okay.
Spoilers.
Okay. Spoiler warning is over. You lost your chance. You fight Balder, which is one of the, I think he's the son of Thor or one of the sons of Thor.
Yep. Isn't that pretty early on?
So you meet him, but you don't know who he is until much later in the game.
Oh yeah.
So you are, that's the main antagonist of the game, and so that's you essentially have like run away from like Greece and Athens and stuff, and you're now in Scandinavia, and you are like a god now from the old games, and I think the whole story is that Balder like mistakes you from somebody else, from one of the giants from Jotunheim, and starts attacking you because there's some like conflict there. Like I don't know the full like story mythology, but like he's actually looking for your son, who is the biggest spoiler of the game, Loki. I know, right? It's a pretty big deal. They call him Atreus in the game, but his name from the giants in Jotunheim, the Jotnar, I think is their, or the Jotnar is their like official like native tongue name, but they call him Loki, and he is like the Loki, like Thor's brother, like the person that you're thinking of. Like he's an ice giant, but he looks like a 10-year-old like white kid. He's not a giant at all. It's just like giants are like just more of like a name for a race, and they aren't all actually giant. So it's the story of you and Atreus after your wife dies, who's Atreus' mom, and you're going to spread her ashes at the highest point in the realm, which is the mountains of Jotunheim. And it's your story about getting there, and you're running into all these like different monsters and trials and tribulations and stuff, and Baldur being one of them. You run into Magnus and Modi, which are like nephews of Thor. So it's a really cool, like visceral Norse mythology tie-in to all of this. And so story for me gets a 10 out of 10. Like it's a very capturing, beautiful story told from that one camera perspective. They give Kratos kind of new life with this like this voice actor and mocap actor between him and Atreus. Like they really feel like a dysfunctional father and son duo, which I really like.
Yes. The banter in that.
Yeah, he's like
them.
this impossibly stoic, like crazy distant father figure who has like the faintest glimmer of like an actual like heart and soul, because the whole thing with Kratos is like,
yep.
I think in the original game, one of the gods killed his family. And so that's why he became who he was, and is just bitter at all the gods and like just became bitter in life in general. And now he started a new family and he's like starting to love them again. And you're kind of finding out about that as the game goes on. And shout outs to Corey Barlog and the whole development team at Sony Santa Monica, like just chef's kiss on this game and the story and the way it looks, the way it plays. I feel like I'm rambling on. Preston, you got any more questions or anything about like that before we move on? I want to get into like gameplay and stuff.
Yeah. I think my favorite part, honestly, of the game was the banter, like the chatting between the main character and his son, or whatever that dynamic is. It felt like his son the whole time. Boy, I think is what he calls him.
Boy, he says that a lot.
The whole time. A whole lot. I also think he looks like Triple H, and Triple H in WWE should play him in a movie. So I think that would be the perfect cast for that.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to watch any like the mocap, like behind the scenes stuff?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, it's so cool. I apologize. I know Sonny Suljic is the boy's name. I forget the main actor's name. Is this giant jack black dude, and I can't remember his name. And he's an amazing actor.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. God of War actor. Christopher Judge.
Yep. Shout out, dude. Most amazing voice. Like he's as big as Kratos in real life. Like he just is the embodiment of that character, and I love it. Full marks for voice acting, for mocap, camera work.
Dang,
amazing on all fronts there.
Yeah, I just pulled it up, and I'm like, whoa, right? Okay.
Like their mocap actors are like the actual proportions that they are in the game, which is always cool to see. Like they didn't have to like do like a whole lot of like shifting in that. And I think in the new one, in Ragnarok, it's the same actors, but it's been like 7 years or 4 years now, not 7 years. I guess since they first started, it's probably been close to 7 years. But Sonny is now like a teenager, and you can hear his voice, and he looks different. They kind of like modeled him a little bit more to kind of look like Atreus, or vice versa. So that was cool to see. And some of like the just real sidebar for a second. The newest trailer that they released at the latest PlayStation Direct.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like there's probably a few spoilers in there, but like, man, that's like one of the coolest, most gripping trailers I've ever seen for anything, period.
It's not my favorite series. I know that also might upset some people, but I was excited to see it. Yeah, I was like, okay.
The quote that everybody has been saying from that trailer is "Death can have me when it earns me." And I was like, oh, that's so good. That's very amazing Kratos thing to say. So for those of you who don't know what I look like, I've considered getting like a muscle suit and cosplaying Kratos for like a Comic-Con or something.
Yeah,
because I have the beard and I'm bald now. And I feel like that's like, besides the muscle thing, like that's the character besides the muscle, which is like probably the biggest part. He's the character I most identify with visually. But anyway, that's another sidebar. But yeah, that trailer and that one really sold Ragnarok for me. Like I was excited about it, but that one was like, goodness, that's going to be an amazing game. So moving on to kind of like gameplay and combat system. So in the original games, you had these weapons called the Blades of Chaos, and they were like swords attached to chains that are like grafted into your arm, for lack of a better term. They're like burned into your skin. And so they can like, you can do like these windmill attacks, and you have a huge area of effect, and you can throw them like kind of scorpion style from Mortal Kombat and bring them back in. And I think through all the games, they like introduce swords and kind of other things. But the new one for this game is called the Leviathan Axe. And it's this giant, like, what's the one from Thor called? The Stormcaller? Or Stormbringer? Is the giant axe.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty much that, except it's like ice based instead of lightning based. And it like comes back to you like very Mjolnir-like. And so that's a really cool mechanic that they developed. You can literally throw the axe like a quarter mile away, walk 2 miles away, and then call it back, and it'll still come back to you. And it very quickly.
Yeah.
But like you can throw it and like call it back like through somebody, like an enemy's head or something like that. So God of War is famously very gory game. So they didn't put too many like human enemies in this game, but there's a lot of these like ethereal monster type enemies that like have like
magic.
Like glowing like fiery like souls that kind of pop out of them when you blow them up and stuff. And it gets kind of graphic, but not nearly as much. They kind of toned it down and kind of focused more on like kind of just the feel of it, which I thought was really good too. But so if I had a gripe about this game, there are so in the older games you had like finisher animations and moves, and they have those in this game, but there's like 3 animations for it, which I feel like was like a little it got a little stale after a while. And then there's only so many enemy types too in this game.
Yeah, that was something
like
I
right away,
too.
right?
I felt like it was very repetitive, and the story was great, but like it was the same type of enemies.
Yeah, so especially like the trolls, like there are like these big like mini bosses called trolls, and they're all the same with different elemental attunements and colors. Otherwise, they are the same enemy. Like some are ice, some are fire. There's one like this like dark energy thing from Helheim, which is like their underworld. But otherwise, they are the same enemy, the same animations, the same death animations. Like that was probably one of my biggest gripes is that there could have been a little bit that would have kind of sold the combat more to me. But the upgrade system is great for all the different movesets you can get. There's tons of armor upgrades, which I love systems like that have like you can get one piece of armor and like upgrade and upgrade and upgrade until it's like perfect kind of thing. And there is that in this game. And there's weapons that have like different like affinity types, and like you can put ones that have like stronger attunements to like your runic abilities, which are like these like magic based moves. And then you have ones that are like purely strength based. And the upgrade tree is very usable and very well thought out. So, and the combat is butter smooth. Like there are no hiccups in the combat whatsoever that I noticed, which I like. That just takes so much fine tuning and refinement from a team of many dozens of people to get it to that point. So again, shout out Sony Santa Monica, amazing job.
Decent game.
Halfway decent game. And I'm saying all these praises. Like I'm normally one to kind of like see the best in things and like kind of just like give something praise right away. But I really don't have much to complain about this game. Like if I were to wrap this up and kind of give it a rating before we move on, I'd probably be right there with like if it was like out of 100, let's say like a 96 or whatever, like a high 9, maybe a 10.
Incredible
for me. It's not my number one game. I do think that Ghost of Tsushima edges it out by like 1 point, maybe. And The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is still a better game, just overall.
Still the number
for
one
me,
game.
It's the number one game like of all time for so many people, and there's a reason for that. But God of War 2018, I think I'd give it like a high 9. Almost a perfect game, and I think from what I've seen from Ragnarok, it can beat it. So I'm very hopeful for that.
Dang.
It looks
okay.
It looks so good. I'm very, very excited for it. And we'll definitely be doing a formal review from at least myself and Andy and Preston. You're more than welcome to join into that.
I'm going to jump on that
so
one.
You will have the full force of Dead Casual reviewing God of War Ragnarok, and we can't wait to talk to you about it in November.
Now, I will say this before we end on that note. If you have not played God of War and you own a PlayStation, you probably have PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
It is included on the PlayStation Plus Extra.
Yeah, even if you wanted to like just buy it for 1 month for like $15.
Yeah.
And then beat it.
Yep. But actually, right now, I just looked it up. It's on sale for $9.
Oh, the game itself? Oh, there you go.
The whole game itself. So if you don't have it, it's $10. If you do have PlayStation Plus Extra, it's
also on Steam now for PC players.
Yes, that's just recent though, right?
You can actually even get that's pretty. I think that was the beginning of this year, and so I think we briefly talked about that before. But if you have Steam and a PC, you can now play it on PC, which is an amazing thing, because PCs are more powerful than most PS4s, or most PCs are more powerful than PS4s, and so you can kind of like max out the settings a little bit more. Get a smoother experience, get like true 4K 60 frames a second if you have a good enough computer. I think the PS5 can do that now. But yeah, since it was developed on PS4, it's not that demanding of a game compared to something that was developed for PS5. Like Ragnarok will be, I think Ragnarok will also be PS4 as well, but like the 4K 60 locked experience will be like on PS5 or like nicer gaming PCs.
Yep.
So check it out. Definitely recommend it. I think it's in most people's top 10 if they own a PlayStation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nothing but good reviews.
That was our first retro review. Hope you liked it.
You missed it, Andy.
That's what you get.
That's one of his favorite games.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's up there.
Yeah, maybe we can hear a few of his thoughts when he decides to quit loving his family so much and come back to us. All right. I don't know that we're gonna have much to talk about, but let's maybe touch on You Gotta Play This.
I honestly have not played hardly anything. I jumped onto Fortnite right before this for like 2 games, and then I was like, okay, got some video games in this.
I wouldn't mind a Fortnite round after this, but anyway. But yeah, I haven't played anything new yet. I haven't played John Wick Hex, and I didn't play any Elden Ring this week. But I don't know if we touched on it last time. In Elden Ring, I did beat the first major boss, which is Margit. For those of you that know the series, I've been watching so many playthroughs. There's this guy, shout outs to Bushy on YouTube. That's his handle on YouTube and Twitch.
Okay.
He does these challenge runs for Elden Ring where he like limits himself to like one type of weapon, or like I can't like get hit, or I have to take out every boss in one hit, which is a ridiculous. I think this is the most popular one, but those have been massively entertaining because I think he's from like the Northeast, so he kind of has like a little bit of that New Yorker accent to him, and he puts it on a little bit. He's really cheesy. But anyway, that's a sidebar. But I've been getting a lot of Elden Ring in my life, and it's now because of my playthrough so far, because of Andy's hyping it up, and because of these videos I've been watching. It's now in my top 20 games. So I definitely plan as soon as I can spare another 80 hours to beat it. But yeah, I think it's going to be up there for me. So you got to play this. The system works. That's all I got to say about that.
There it is.
Preston, any more?
I honestly, I haven't got to play anything. We should jump on a game of Fortnite.
I'm totally down. Yeah, I mean, dude, you got to come borrow my Pro Controller or Joy-Cons or whatever, because we got to get you playing more Breath of the Wild.
No, I ordered some yesterday on Amazon.
Did you go for Joy-Cons or you went Pro Controller?
I have a Pro Controller.
Well, you haven't been using that?
Yeah, okay. I haven't. Because, and I think I've said it before, but my office is upstairs, which I'm in right now. But when I go to bed,
you just take the
downstairs,
Switch with you,
the Switch lives down there basically, and so
not the most convenient thing.
Yeah,
possible,
exactly. And I feel like I'm getting old, and the TV distance just wouldn't work well in bed. Trying to, anyways, that's a whole other story.
Old man.
Yep,
that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited for you to play that and to to see you dig into the Stick of Truth, because that one's also definitely worth playing.
Hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely catch up on You Gotta Play This next week. I plan to make more of an effort now that I don't have any other gigs lined up right now, to play some John Wick Hex, to get further into Elden Ring, and to see what Andy has to say about his games. So yeah, if you don't have anything else, no? Okay.
That's it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I think this was a shorter episode than usual. But thanks for joining myself and Preston at Dad Casual. If you like what you heard, please consider giving us a review on your podcast platform of choice, or a thumbs up and a comment on the YouTube link to this one. We'd very much appreciate that. And we thank you so much for listening. If you have anything to say, anything that you'd like us to talk about more, any questions about us, about games, about dad life, feel free to hit us up at dadcasualpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the things. And we will see you next time.
Later.
Peace.